Welcome back to the Martini Works podcast. I am, in fact, alive, contrary to popular belief. Dakota did not eat me. I know that was a thought for a couple weeks. That did not happen.
Sure seemed like it, though.
We're giving Alex another chance on the podcast.
Please don't fire me. No, back from Japan and back from Gatlinburg.
Dang.
So happy.
What a month.
Yeah.
Mr. Worldwide.
September
Holy
came
shit.
and went very quickly, and we're already into October. Today's all about Slam Enough Gatlinburg. If you guys were there and you had a chance to stop by the booth, thank you. That was pretty rad.
It's pretty sick.
It was a pretty awesome time.
Actually, Slammed Enough Sevierville.
Yeah.
Yeah. Slammed Enough Sevierville.
Nope, it's Sevierville.
No, it's Sevierville.
Nope, it's Sevierville. It's
I
based
don't
after
trust-
a very important person, actually, so they get really upset. That's why they get upset.
Yeah, it was
What?
severe.
It was
What's
like,
the history of this
it was
tourist
like
town?
The guy that founded it. It was a very important person. His last name was Sevier. It's Sevierville. It's very important. I'm not going to argue it.
Say it right or don't say it at all.
There
I
you go.
thought he got in trouble, but we're not going to talk about that today.
No.
What are we starting the conversation off with today, Dakota, outside of if you're looking for car parts? MontreCarMartiniWorks.com. We're coming into November, which is Black Friday, Cyber Monday, a whole bunch of deals. And one of the big things we do is we're really honest with you on what deals are good and which ones are shit. So if you guys are on the fence and you're wondering if it's worth to buy at the beginning of the month or in the middle or at the end, just reach out to us at MartiniWorks.com. We'll actually tell you the truth on whether it's worth it to wait or not wait, because we've been in this business for a long-ass time. So we kind of know the tricks of the trade.
Mm-hmm.
But, Dakota, how are we starting
that
it
they
off?
play.
Yeah.
I think we should talk a little bit about what it took to get down there. I think people seen us at the booth, which was awesome, but I don't think they seen everything that goes into it beforehand. So, I mean, it's a lot of packing. Like this year, we came with vengeance. We wanted best booth.
Yeah,
And
we
best
did.
booth didn't just happen. So we were literally like doing setups here at our shop outside, mocking it all up, taking photos, getting dump trucks delivered that we didn't know were showing up.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, I kind of have this tendency to reach for the stars with some ideas that I have.
But cheaply.
But as affordably as we can.
And that's
Because
the
we ain't,
tough part.
Because we ain't got no money, Dan. And it started off with wanting to get like a grass foundation, but I didn't want AstroTurf or like cheap turf or the turf that you'd find at like Menards. I wanted real
You
turf.
keep saying real turf. That's an oxymoron. That's not a real thing.
No, it's functional turf. This is not a rep turf. This is real turf.
It's
Okay,
turf.
It is real turf.
it is real turf, and turns out that got delivered via dump truck.
did.
I wasn't even here for that.
It was the whole thing around the turf was a fucking nightmare, because it was some sketchy ad on Marketplace.
No, it wasn't sketchy.
And it was like, hey, we just tore this up from Concordia University. Who wants it? And it's like just in a roll. And getting the shipping to come up here to do this was an absolute nightmare. I think Chris about had 3 different breakdowns, because the guy was like, yeah, I just don't really feel like dropping it off today. Like, I'm not even kidding. And then it was like, nah, I'm just having a bad day. I don't want to drop it off.
Yeah,
And then it's like,
that's what he said.
well, if I don't have to make at least 2 drop-offs up there, I'm not coming up. And Chris was fine. Like, you're fucking dropping this off. We bought it. Please give us what we fucking bought. And they showed up in a literal dump truck, and there was like, beep, and it like fucking slid out the back, hit the concrete, and then it's like, all right, see ya. And then we had to deal with it. And it was in like 2 giant, probably 500 to 600 pounds each rolls that were just oddly shaped and cut.
Yeah, we couldn't move it, so we hooked up to a Jeep and towed it out.
We couldn't move it. It was so big.
I didn't know that.
We had like all of us like go around it. We're like, all right. I mean, they literally dropped it off in a dump truck in the shop. We're like, we'll give it a shot. And it was just like out of a fucking cartoon. Like they go to lift something and it just nothing happens. We're like, we're fucked. Like this lives here now.
Well, it worked.
Oh,
Yeah, we got to figure it out.
Yeah, it was.
Cut her into pieces.
And it wasn't our last resort. The good news
Yes.
is we got the grass figured out, and then we also wanted to set up the lights, which we got that figured out. We made our own custom kind of like flower pots with fake grass, and then had
poles.
And then we made our own poles to hang everything from, which looked really good. We brought a portion of the wheel wall with us, so we had to disassemble the whole thing and then reassemble it while we were down there. We bought patio furniture, because one thing we noticed last year is there's no place to sit down.
There's nothing. There's
Your
nowhere to
legs be
sit,
hurting.
and you're walking.
Yeah, and so your ankles get sore like 30 minutes into the venue. So
Facts.
by combining the real turf and the patio furniture, we actually created a space where even the cops that were walking around the expo center, they would walk at like normal pace throughout everywhere else. And then when they got to our booth, they walked at like quarter pace.
Yeah.
Because they just wanted to like relax the ankles. Every time I go over there, I talk to him. I'm like, you guys spend a lot of time at our booth. Is something like
Something up?
scoping something out? And he's like, honestly, can I tell you the truth? I was like, yeah. He goes, wearing these fucking boots all day.
Dude, I get it.
He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
this grass feels incredible on my
can
ankles.
imagine.
I'm like, you can stay as long as you'd like. And then they hopped on the sim rig.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That
So-
was awesome.
You flew into Tennessee, right?
I did. Yeah, I flew straight from Haneda to Knoxville.
That was wild, just back to back. Gels, you trailered the RX-8, right?
I did,
In
yeah.
the convoy with the R34 and Lars.
Yeah, we loaded
BMW.
up. We loaded up multiple of Dolly Logistics trailers, car haulers, and brought them down from Wisconsin. It was super neat.
Yeah, a lot of times people
yeah.
give you shit for hauling a car, but I'm telling you, 13 hours, getting a trailer full of cars down to Gatlinburg, totally worth it. Dolly Logistics also, they're up near us, which is, northeastern or eastern Wisconsin, but they do really great stuff. If you guys are ever looking for like a logistics company that doesn't seem like it's ran through a brokerage, and then once you actually get to the trailer company, they don't speak any English and they're really angry all the time for no reason in particular, skip all of that bullshit. And just reach out to Dolly Logistics.
Yeah.
They're awesome. They do a lot of hot
Yeah.
shotting. They do a lot of full trailer
Flight.
stuff. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, Bobby's a car guy too, so he's gonna take care of your stuff.
Yeah.
Like I threw McKee's RX. I'm like, I trust you. You know, they take great care of the stuff. They load them like like typically with lowered cars, like going to Slamden off Gatlinburg too. It's like obviously loading it on a trailer is part of like the biggest pain in the ass. They have the biggest, or watching them, they're loading up the cars here, like the largest assortment of ramps and boards
Oh, yeah.
and 2x4s and planks and positions of the trailer moved to like get it as flat as possible. It was perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was good. And then Dakota, you drove down.
Yeah, I
You
just
did.
drove down. There's,
Just full
Just
sense.
super doing super stuff.
yeah, I'll have you know, I didn't raise it. I kept the lip on, and
Savage.
the whole way down and back, I never scraped once.
Did
Nice.
you tell the internet that you're not one of those posers that trailers their car to Gatlinburg? Because I would.
No, just I had multiple people come up and make fun of me because my car was so dirty, and I was like, "Well, I fucking drove it down."
Yeah,
bud.
I drove it like
Shit,
1,400
I got
miles.
white wheels and a black car. What do you expect? There's no way I'm keeping it clean.
It's like the two worst colors to go on
Yes.
a road trip with.
Yes, yeah.
But no, it went really good. Shout out to the Supra, dude. That is such a good car. Never once was my ass sore, my back sore. I just literally 2 stops.
There.
Damn,
Tennessee.
2 stops, huh?
2 stops.
How long you get on a tank and then?
Long enough.
What was the range?
I'm trying to think. I don't know. I didn't pay attention. I had
Because we,
Joe Rogan podcast on.
uh,
I just fucking boom.
Because we took the Type R down. We drove the Type R first, like big road trip in the car. Small tank on it. We averaged
really?
about like 30 mpgs, which wasn't terrible, but we only got about 300 miles or so out of a tank. Very small tank.
Yeah.
Very small tank.
Track car.
Track
I
car.
got a pretty good tank because I just showed up.
Yeah, you just rode with everyone.
And then I'm going to be honest, riding around with people is kind of fun too.
Yeah,
Like if you don't
not
have
bad.
a car and you're still debating on going,
You
it's
still
not
feel
bad.
you still feel a little left out though.
Yeah, I do wish I had the 430 down there. That would have
Yeah,
been
yeah.
that would have been a hoop. But the R34 was a blast to drive on the mountains.
That car belongs in the mountains. I
yeah,
hate to say it.
So
the,
good
the
down there.
I love
tires-
having it here, but that car belongs in the mountains.
It just belongs in a place where you can actually like turn the steering wheel and have some fun with it. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, but like there are really fun cars that are fast and fun in a straight line, and then there are cars that are fun when you use the steering wheel and brakes, and just that car is just the latter of the two.
Yeah,
you know.
we were out filming rollers with the car for one of the final episodes of the build on it, and we were kind of like ripping through like that road by the cabin and stuff, dude. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. It was making all the right noises. Obviously, you got like the trees and stuff surrounding, so it's like
looks so
everything's like echoing. It's like this bright yellow against like all the colors and like greens and stuff down there. Like the roads down there are fucking beautiful. Like a lot of those like back roads and like country roads, like they're gorgeous. I don't know
Yeah.
if like they've all just been redone or something, but like they're like dark color, like super
They looked
smooth,
fresh.
like they're fresh. I was loving it.
Yeah, it was a really good time. I think the cabin was also a blast. We
the
had
cabin was
all
great.
of our cars up at the top of the cabin, had all of our friends with us. It was a little different for us. You know, we didn't necessarily party till like 4 o'clock in the morning or anything.
No, we're
but
getting
like
old.
we had fun. We had the sim rigs. We had the sim rigs at the booth, but before we had to set up the booth, we had the
Set
sim
up
rigs set up outside at the cabin.
That was
And
dope.
so we were, you know, having drinks and listening to music, and then
This gorgeous view.
there's this gorgeous view behind, and then we're doing
iRacing.
dirt track iRacing, and it was an absolute blast. It felt really good. It felt like it was Martini Works' like true official kind of like authentic experience,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
the audience and the folks that came up to say hi, to pick up a t-shirt, talk about like what wheels they wanted to buy once they have the funds to do it. Like it felt really good. Like the whole experience just felt awesome.
There was even a bear.
Multiple bears.
Yeah, but the one bear at the cabin I thought was going to get a little bit too close to our Miata. I was a little worried about that.
Black bears love Miatas.
Yeah.
Every year I see a freaking bear down in Gatlinburg getting into a Miata. I don't know what it
It's
is.
just they keep something in there. There's some snack that Miata owners have they keep in the car that
Yeah, what are
everybody
you
wants.
Miata guys and gals
They
eating?
must
What are you
have good
leaving in your car?
snacks.
Dude, it was a fun time. Dakota, what was your favorite part?
My favorite part of the entire trip, or like the cabin.
Cabin.
Cabin was probably, dude. It had the biggest deck going all the way. It actually had multiple decks.
It was huge.
But then there was like this. I don't even know. It's like an outdoor patio
Yeah.
area deck that
Yeah.
was just massive, and then the views of the mountains.
It was
'cause
a
we were, like-
pavilion.
it was like pavilion, the highest cabin, and you could just see the mountains
Mm-hmm.
in the background, and whether it was like sunset or sunrise was just absolutely gorgeous.
It was really cool to have. One of my favorite moments is because we have a huge team that goes out there. I think we had 22 people-ish or so that were at the cabin, all of which are, you know, either they work for Martini Works or they're volunteers for Martini Works. You know, they come on their own accord. And they help us out, which is, you know, huge shout out to everybody who helps and the significant others. But like we, instead of going out, you know, downtown to eat and paying $1,000 for each meal, we actually got groceries and then we cooked for everyone, which
Yeah,
was
we had like
which was super fun.
We had like a schedule and everything of who was responsible for each night, and that was really fun.
Yeah, we had
was
like
really good.
burgers and pasta and walking tacos,
like a
and we tried to do
stir-fry
we had a
night.
stir fry night. We tried to do like healthy options too, because like, dude, then when you do try to cook at a cabin, all you want to do is eat like fucking chicken nuggets and pizza. And
yeah.
then you feel bloated as hell afterwards. So it
It's
was
like
nice
the fourth
to like.
night of like frozen pizza and chicken nuggets. It's like okay.
I'm done. I'm good.
That was
good.
awesome. All of us like cooking together and making meals. That was awesome.
It was really unique. I absolutely loved that. That was awesome, and
Yeah.
it didn't feel like a pile of shit after
The next
this
day.
week. Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys are on the fence about Gatlinburg and attending, I think it is, you know, I think it is worth it. I think it's worth it if you have friends. I think it's worth it if you want to go solo. I think it's worth it if you have a car or don't have a car. I think one of the big things is, you know, being respectful of the city and town, which I think it went well.
I didn't
I
hear much.
didn't hear anything about any sort of issue this year.
Yeah.
Which obviously I know like there's a lot of people. All the pop-up meets and stuff still happen like downtown.
Yeah.
Obviously some people are gonna do dumb shit, but it's like I feel like last year, like it was, you know, every night there was like something like big that happened, and it
Yeah.
was like really like a big deal. This year I didn't hear any of that.
Well,
Which thank God.
I was
you
kind of
know,
worried because Vated didn't have their pre-meet,
Yeah,
which, to
yeah.
be fair, I love Vated. I love the crew of Vated, but I always have this like natural hesitation of spending the 2 free nights that I have at Gatlinburg at 6-hour-long car shows when I'm going to see some of those cars on Saturday and Sunday too. But like I was worried that without it, people were just going to go terrorize the
Right,
town, and
yeah,
it sounds
yeah.
like it went pretty well.
Went
The
okay.
cops that I ran into, even when I was just out cruising with the R34, like we got kicked out of a couple lots myself, but the cops were super nice about it.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, "Hey guys, just so you know, if you buy something, you go into the restaurant,
Good.
you can stay.
Yeah.
If you guys are just hanging out, unfortunately,
It's simple
you
simple loitering.
yeah, they're
laws,
like, you,
Right.
you
Yeah.
got to get out." And so everybody was super chill about it. I didn't hear anybody that was mean about it. The cops were never mean about it, at least to us or to me. Like they were super chill.
I know that the tickets that I did see were pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like minimum like $168 per like offense.
Yeah, that was the
thing.
minimum.
Yeah, so I heard a lot of people. If your car came in contact with like the ground
Oh,
at
yeah.
all,
They didn't
and you
fuck
were
with
like
that.
kind of like clearly being like reckless, they'd nail you. And it was like $168 for damaging pavement, $168 for like coming in contact with the ground,
Yep.
or like operating a vehicle like at an improper ride height or something like that. It was something weird like that. I remember we were at the show and then some guy had like his ticket like stuck up in his like fender
Yeah.
and wheel, and it was like an $800
Because
ticket.
they all add up, and they just like
It was like
it's a bunch
tint,
of crap.
speeding, damaging pavement, inoperable something. And it was like $800 and some dollars. Like, dang.
I didn't know damaging pavement was a ticket.
Yeah.
There are tickets for everything.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
if you
like-
think there's a ticket for
Yeah.
it, there's a ticket for
It's
it.
like one of those things. It's like, okay, if we're getting to the point where it's like I need to pull you over, I'm gonna make a point out of it.
Right.
Well, I think
Which
that
is
was
like,
the whole
yeah.
reason, right? Because
Yeah.
like there was loads. I mean, we rode down the strip maybe once or twice, not too many times, but like the only time I ever noticed a cop going after someone was when they were either speeding or
Like
they
the
were,
car was like
they were
throwing
bu-
sparks.
They were
Yeah.
throwing sparks, or they were doing a burnout. Because I
Yeah.
did see one cop. There was like a C6 Corvette that came out of a parking lot and just rolled him out, and that cop took 0 seconds to
Right.
flip the lights on, come
Yeah.
out of like the random tree that he was hiding behind, and he blasted that dude with tickets. So I think it's like you're asking for a little bit of trouble if you're going down the
Yeah,
strip.
no, I'm glad that there wasn't like a huge deal about all that this year. I think everything went pretty well. Like you said, yeah, any experience running that I did have with an officer or something like that, it was like we were loading up cars Sunday night.
Yeah.
In like what's known as the Brick Lot. It's like a huge like meetup place, all that kind of stuff. And there was a ton of cars there. And there was a ton of cops there, but they were kind of just chilling. We had the big trailers there that we were loading up. We brought all the cars, and they kind of just rolled through with like the lights just kind of on, and they're like, "Hey, and I was like, oh, fuck, we're gonna have to go find like another like place to go like load cars. That's gonna be a pain in the ass." And he's like, "Hey, just lot's closing at 10. We just please be out of here by 10." I'm like, "No worries. We're just getting actually the cars loaded up. And we're gonna be out of here completely."
Yeah.
He's like, "Sounds good. If you just let other people know that 10 o'clock we're shutting it down."
Yeah, hats
Appreciate
off to the Slammed Enough staff and the
Yeah.
and the team too. I think
They did
like
a really good job
Charlene
getting
and-
ahead of it.
Yeah, Charlene and the team and those guys, I think one of the biggest things that we've always kind of been advocates for is like more communication,
Mm-hmm.
like more of that, especially with how many people who show up and how much money we spend to go there. We're looking for as much comms as we can. And they really delivered. Like you could very clearly see that they stepped up this year in such the right way. I mean, I had, even when we were at the booth, like we had staff and some of the models and some of the folks that were just like running the event. They came up to us like 3-4 times. "Hey, do you guys need anything? Are you okay? How's everything going?" Lots of emails back and forth. And I think that was absolutely incredible. I think the team had a lot of weight on their shoulders this year because it sounded like
everyone was looking at him.
yeah, it sounded like it was a very strict year, and I think the Slam Enough team knocked it out of the park. I think those guys absolutely crushed it. I didn't hear anything bad. I don't think I would personally have changed anything about how they organized everything. I think it was
It
incredible.
was one of my favorite gets this
Absolutely.
year. Or
Yeah.
Sevierville, I should say.
It was one of my favorite gats. I
Yeah.
mean,
I keep hearing that thrown around, and I think that's a big thing.
Yeah.
yeah, it's cool to see. I think it was weird. The weirdest thing to me was Saturday was crazy, and maybe we'll talk about this in the next segment. But
Yeah.
like Saturday was crazy, and Sunday felt a little bit like softer. And I don't know if
Yeah.
it was cause Saturday was so crazy that Sunday felt like not normal. But dude, the cars on Sunday were insane.
Nuts.
The cars on Sunday were nuts. So we're going to be talking about that here in just a little bit, but not before talking about one of our main sponsors of the Martini Works podcast, Continental Tire. Giles, you want to talk about it?
Absolutely. Continental Tire has been pretty much from the beginning sponsored Martini Works podcast, and that's because we wanted to do something with Continental Tire. We've been running them on our vehicles for years and years and have had nothing but good experience with those tires. And we want to make sure that the partners that we work with and promote to you guys are something that we truly stand behind and believe in, and Continental is 100% one of those brands. Between looking for something for the track, an ultra high performance tire like the ECS02, something to get you around no matter where you need to go, the DWS06 for an all season tire, or if you live up here, the Great White North, winter's coming. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but those Viking Contact 7s absolutely rip in the snow. They're a fantastic winter snow tire. So if you guys need a tire, Continental's probably got you covered with options that they have, the sizes that they have, and of course the availability, and they come in at a pretty decent price, which is like the cherry on top of all of it. So thank you so much for Continental for sponsoring the Martini Works podcast. And of course, if you are looking for a set of tires that get you through the upcoming seasons, make sure to check them out now at martiniworks.com.
All right, let's talk about the show.
Yeah, let's get into it, huh?
The actual Saturday and Sunday.
How'd it go?
I think it went well. Saturday, for those that don't know, the show itself is 2 days, Saturday and Sunday.
2 very long days.
They are long.
So long.
They are long. They are long. But I think in terms of the volume of people that were there on Saturday, you probably needed the whole day.
Yeah.
We didn't even have a chance to go outside. There's a whole outside section.
Yeah, I didn't go outside at all.
I never went outside.
It was
Yeah.
also like 100 degrees, so I didn't want to.
Yeah, it was like
but
1,000 degrees in just the straight sun. But it was a wild day. Saturday we had the R34 and the Gloria at the booth. which-
JDM vibe.
Yeah, the Gloria, I was worried that we wouldn't even be able to really get it in the show because
Why?
we've just thrashed on that thing all year round. I mean, it's been to Drift Mansion, it's been to multiple drift days. We've taken it pretty much across the country, and it had some battle scars that we had to kind of clean up between now and launch day. So shout out to Gels for helping me get that thing put back together. We've got the barrels repolished on the Volk GTCs. We got
The whole wheels
faces
refinished, yeah.
powdered by Apex Engineered over here
dress-up
in
bolts
Wisconsin.
hardware.
We got new hardware. We got dress-up bolts. They sent us some really nice gold hardware that I think really makes the wheels pop. If you guys are looking for titanium hardware, dress-up bolts is like the #1 place that we go to, and we love the experience with them. And then we had to get it all put back together
Yeah, yeah.
before the actual show day.
Yeah, we lowered your fitment a little bit so you didn't look bunk.
Yeah, we had it on
we had
a
to get
drift fitment.
We had to source a new corner marker light that you took out with a cone, I believe, at one point.
Yeah, we do that.
That was a unique find. Trying to source something in a Japanese auction Yahoo site and
Yeah.
then trying to get it to America in time. Weird. We did it.
It
We
works.
got it.
It
Worked.
works.
It looks great. It fit. Put a Nardi steering wheel in there to replace the one that you had. I like the one you had. It was a little beat up.
Yeah, it was thrashed.
Got a nice polished face polished face wood ring wheel.
Yeah.
That actually matches the rest of like the wood trim inside of the car really well, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of like an older nostalgic
Mm-hmm.
style that I really, really like. The only thing that I was responsible for, we failed at, which was getting a new grill for it because the actual emblem on the front, the chrome was
Peeling
kind of
off, yeah.
peeling and flaking. So I thought I bought the right one.
It looked
was
right.
It was a Y33. It was a Nissan Gloria. It had all the right bits and pieces. So when I was in Japan, I found it. Shout out to those that helped me find that one. And when I got it back, it didn't
Different.
fit.
I
Dude,
don't-
Nissan's
I don't
got
want-
so many different sub-trim model pieces for their cars. It's the stupidest thing in the world.
So that's why I was so worried about the like corner marker.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, dude, because I was looking for, I was like, all right, Y33 Nissan Gloria, like corner marker, passenger side technically, you know, and there was like 20 different ones,
Yes.
and I was like, what the fuck? Like, how am I supposed to find the right one? Shout out to Ed at Driver because I just shot him a message. I'm like, please find me one of these. He's like, oh yeah, here you go.
Yeah.
I was like, thank God. He actually also helped us source the Altia kit for the GTT.
The R34, yeah. So it Saturday looked really good. And then on Sunday we had Stevens Lexus in
Yep.
there. We took the Gloria out, got rid of
I
that
love
thing.
Steven's car.
Dude, it looks so good.
Oh,
the
so
purple with the green real turf looked absolutely just nutty, in my opinion. Grass
It
with
did.
cars always
Dude,
looks good.
The 5th SSR in his car is the biggest flex I've ever seen.
Yeah, so we're biased, but Steven's got one of the coolest goddamn trunk setups, and I wish it got a little bit more love because he has the face of an SSR in the trunk of his car,
with
and it
like
looks
an
so
infinity mirror,
good.
yeah.
And yeah, it's got an infinity mirror in it.
It's
So
like the whole platform itself is like actual carbon that he laid.
dude,
Like,
and the fitment on that car is so
and
good.
he battled with that all fucking summer too.
It
Like,
turns out if you don't drive your car, you can sometimes cause issues with
Yeah.
bolts and things, just like if you do drive your car.
Yeah, it sounds like it was like a Lexus thing too. Like they're just kind of known for like he had to do a lot of work to like all the suspension components to like get it to where he wanted, swapping a lot of those pieces out. Some of just like the actual like OEM hardware and stuff that was in there was just a absolute bitch to get out and like fight with, and dialing in the fitment the way that he did with the new setup was pretty tough, but he got it. I know he had a bunch of help from some friends, some even people from here, to get it to where it was. It was a long fought battle, but I think it was 100% worth it because that car looked incredible.
Dakota, what was your favorite car on Saturday?
Oh,
would you
dude.
On
say?
Saturday?
Ooh, on Saturday. Shit.
Yeah, because I know which car is your favorite on
Oh,
Sunday, but
no.
we're putting that to the end of the podcast, so you got to keep listening.
Saturday was definitely Ray's RX-7.
Yeah.
That thing is amazing. It's time attack style, and every bit of that car is. It just looks wild in person. Like you can't help but stop and go and look at that car because it's so aggressive. It looks insane. It looks like it's straight out of, like, I don't know, Gran Turismo or something.
It looks like it bullies air.
Yeah, 100%. That was definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
Damn.
Gels?
I'm trying to think. There's so many damn people there. Like I tried to walk around and like get eyes on
Saturday
everything.
was shoulder to
Dude,
shoulder.
I don't know. It felt like this year there was a lot more. Like there was an additional row of vendors that they kind of squeezed in there. I could be wrong on that, but it felt a little more. I don't know if it was just maybe the row of people or amount of people too, but it felt like the first like 4 or 5 rows was a lot of vendors, and there was like one row specifically I remember being really skinny, and I was like, oh my god, I can't even like get through here. But man, there was so many people. Shit, I'm trying to think of which one on Saturday really stood out to me.
Mark's R34.
I mean, yeah, the freaking it was like what spec was it? Too? 'Cause
NER Spec M or
yeah, it's
something
like
like
a
that.
Nismo NER spec. It had like
Just like kept going
all
up.
the
Millennium
Nismo stuff.
Jade.
It's like a $500,000 GTR.
Yeah, but to get to see it in person was rad.
Yeah, the
'Cause
last time I saw that car, it was like in his place, which is like an old fire
we went to
hall
go see it.
station, and it was just kind of tucked in the corner. He's like, oh yeah, that's like $500,000. I'm like,
We have people that will ask us all the time, like they'll look at this car and they'll be like, "Is that a GTR?"
No.
I'll say, "No, it's a GTT," and they're like, "Oh, it's just kind of hard to tell." But when you put a GTR next to a GTT,
Especially
one
one like
looks
that.
anemic, and you can definitely tell why the GTR is a GTR. Like it looks like almost a completely different car.
yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah.
That car is incredible. Yeah,
that car
that's a
was-
good one.
That was a cool car. Saturday was pretty rad. What about Sunday?
Sunday, the quality of cars was insane. Holy cow! Like
Yeah, if you guys missed out on Sunday, holy
they
shit.
Yeah, you
swap
mid
out
miss
the
out.
cars and they bring in new cars. And I
I'd
mean,
say
Saturday
majority of
had
them.
some awesome cars. Well, one thing that was super interesting to me though about Saturday, I didn't pick it up as much Sunday, but there was a lot more SUVs this year.
Yeah.
Like the SUV
A lot of
crossover,
SUVs. Yeah.
like explosion. I did not expect going in because we kind of talked about like our expectations, what we were going to see this year. I feel like I was completely wrong
Yeah.
in a lot of them.
Yeah.
Because holy shit.
Yeah, I would say I expected more show vets. There was a lot of vets at Gatlinburg, a lot of Corvettes. It was like the official car of 2024 for sure. I mean, we've talked about that since Riverside, but there wasn't that many actually in the show. There's a few of them.
Yeah, there was
Obviously, it was
only
a
a handful.
popular platform,
Yeah.
but I would still say like the BRZ FRS 350
It's
is
still
still the
number
crown.
one. Yeah.
But I was expecting that, but then yeah, like I feel like next year I think Slam Enough's gonna have to do like a best SUV like category
or something.
because there was some, and they weren't slouches.
No.
Those SUVs were nuts on what they did in those cars or SUVs.
It was like a CHR that was in there, and it just looked ridiculous. And it was like I was kind of walking around too, and it's like a lot of the times, like when it comes to like the VIP stuff, it's like the older '90s stuff or like the early 2000s
Lexus.
stuff. Yeah, so it's like LS400s, it's Glorias, it's Centuries, it's Cedrics. It's like all that kind of stuff, right? Like the older stuff that very VIP laid out. There was maybe, from what I remember seeing, like a couple like that, but a lot of the VIP cars that I was seeing were like the crossover SUVs and like newer stuff, like the newer Lexuses, the newer like Camrys and stuff like that were just insanely
Yeah.
done up, and like that modern VIP stuff with all the crazy interior and things like that. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. It was Sunday was a wild day. The quality of cars was fantastic. I just loved it. Also, like the vibes just felt really good.
Yeah.
I know that last year, when we kind of had our feedback for Slam Enough, we had some opportunities to maybe to change up some of the like the music and like the MC stuff and stuff like that. And that's long past us, but dude, I didn't know what to expect this year. I was like,
Right.
is it going to be kind of the same? Is it going to be different? Dude, the DJ and Doug and those guys, 10 out of 10. It was
Yeah, it was
literally,
perfect.
it was perfect. I could have a conversation with people.
Yep.
The music was still playing, but it wasn't so ridiculous that we couldn't like record video. Like there were people standing in front of the music because the music wasn't like at a billion,
Yeah.
like it was perfect. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I thought that was all absolutely fantastic. And like the I know like they do raffles, and I know sometimes people are like, oh, the raffles take, everything was perfect. Everything was on time. The trophy distribution was on time.
Yeah.
Getting the cars out was quick.
Yep.
We got out of that space like an hour earlier, even though we had 4 times as much stuff. Like it was just a really well-oiled machine this year, and you could feel it like the whole time. It just felt right. So I was very, very happy with how it went, because like our team, for those that don't know, like we said, we have a lot of volunteers. They come in, they help work booths, they help set up, they help tear down. But these guys are also trying to like enjoy a vacation too.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we're kind of screwed on that because it takes 6 hours to set up, and then we're waiting for the trailer to come in and all that stuff. And it's like, no, none of that happened. It was awesome.
I accidentally walked in on a guy in the stall.
We had to talk about that, didn't we?
Yeah, I want to get it out
You
there.
could have just let that go.
I need to get it out there because I just need to apologize. Honestly.
Do you know the
If they're
individual's
listening,
name?
Dakota's sorry.
I don't know his name, but I know every other thing else about him. All right.
How
so
did you do that?
I had to go to the bathroom really bad, so I'm like, I run to the bathroom, and the stalls are taking up. No one's coming in, no one's going out. I do the feet check, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Someone really in
bend
there?
over. All right, we're good. All right, so there's 3, and then the back one's open. I go to the back one, and I just open it, and the guy's like, no. I'm like, holy, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I just fucking beelined out of there. No longer am I going to the bathroom in there. I am not waiting. I just got out of there. I did say sorry, but I got out of there, and then I went all the way across the convention center to another bathroom. This was on Sunday, and I went to the bathroom there, and then there was just someone throwing up the entire time in there.
Oof.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what it was.
That
Everyone
was
went
drinky
really
drink.
hard on Saturday,
There
and no
was-
one should have. It like when we're saying that, it was a night and day difference. I don't know what it was. Usually Sunday is like, I remember like every year it goes like everyone's like, you gotta go Sunday. Sunday's like the really big day. It's like the upperclassmen day. That's like when people really come out
Yeah.
swinging. It's like when Vaded really shows up. It's like Tensei the last couple of years. Team Tensei really comes with like all their cars.
Stature.
Yeah, like all like the big clubs like come out like on Sunday, it seems like. And it's like, okay, so Saturday was absolutely freaking bonkers. Like the entire day. I don't remember looking, because our booth was right by the entrance. I
And
don't
will
ever
continue
remember
to be forever.
Yes, best spot. I don't ever remember
our spot.
looking at the door on Saturday and there not being just people cramming through to get in the entire day. It was like an hour before the show closed, and there's just people cramming in. And Sunday, I was like, oh man, it's gonna be even crazier. The doors open. It was like people kind of just trickled in. I was like, damn, people went too hard.
Yeah.
People went too hard on
They
Saturday.
did. And they missed out, dude. Sunday was the day because the cars were just freaking insane.
Yeah, because we heard some people that like, we came Saturday and then we cruised on Sunday.
Sure.
And it's like, I totally get it. I understand it. But you should have stopped by because it was pretty fucking sick.
Yeah,
like
dude,
there
it
was
absolutely wild.
there was some absolutely
At
insane
the same
stuff.
time, I didn't mind it because it did give me a chance to just go enjoy the show a little bit.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just super overwhelming, because Saturday got pretty crazy.
Yeah,
It was
Saturday
nuts.
was insane,
Saturday
dude.
was nuts, and we appreciate like all the love and all the
Yes,
support.
yes.
And like what was really cool is we had people coming up saying, "Hey, dude, like my car's in the show. It's my first year. I got my wheels from you guys. Like I
Hell
got
yeah,
my
yeah.
2-piece works.
That's
or hey,
super
dude, I
cool.
bought my gram lights from you guys." And that's super rad, and we love to see that, because this whole thing isn't possible if we don't get help on that side of things. And we're super honest about that. Like having people mod their car with Martini Works allows us to grow, and then we get to give back to the community, and we get to, to pay the bill to be at Slam Enough Gatlinburg is all because of that. And then we get to be at the show, having these memories, doing this cool stuff because of you. So if you guys are on the fence of picking up car parts, know that it's not just about the part itself. It's about continuing to grow this chapter of what we hope will ultimately be like the number one place people go to mod their car, which is Martini Works. And so that's the shameless plug, if you will. But we really enjoyed it. And I do have to say, thank you to Slam Enough for, listening to some of our feedback, to having those conversations, and then hosting what I would argue is probably one of the best slammed enough Sevierville, Gatlinburg shows ever. I
Yeah.
mean, hats off to everyone involved in that mess, because like I've seen the same faces for multiple years, and to watch you guys continue to crush it, you know, hats off to you guys and gals to make it possible.
Yeah,
And
it was
thank
awesome.
you for letting us distribute our own trophy.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
really cool.
That was pretty wild.
That was so surreal to do.
That was
at a
insane.
Slammed Enough
That was probably like the highlight for me.
Scary.
It was.
It was
yeah.
super hard. Like
Yeah,
we went
how was
and
that
we were
going
talking
up
with
there?
people and checking out cars.
But you don't realize it, right? It's like I consider Slam of Gallenberg like the car show SEMA. You know, a lot of people
For real, yeah.
they're releasing their cars that they've worked on all
Mm-hmm,
summer at GAT, and so when we started looking through the cars, it wasn't just a matter of like which car was clean. We had to add, you know, multiple different attributes to try and weed out already incredible cars.
Yeah.
You know, like we were excluding, you know, supercars, and we were excluding brand new builds, and it felt bad to be
Yeah.
like, no, this doesn't meet but we had to. Otherwise it was like there's 30 cars to pick
Yeah, you
from, and
gotta
we
pick
needed
one.
like 3.
Yeah.
And our trophy was authentic build choice.
Mm-hmm.
And the Martini Works team, Dakota Gels and I got to
We
really
went
get
through
down in the
every
weeds.
single car.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
All the mods.
multiple days.
multiple
Days. Every single mod we went through, every single car choice we went through, and we started kind of combing through it. And then, you know, that led to, I think it led to about 3 cars that I would say we were really getting close on.
We kind of did battle it out because
We did.
we had some really good conversation near the end there. We
Yeah.
got to. We wanted one of the biggest things that we took into consideration, obviously coming from Martini Works. If you guys listen to the podcast, followed along with us, you know what we're about. One of those things is like the person behind the build, because it's more than just a car at the end of the day. It's like, what is the build story about the car? Why did this person choose to go with this platform? Why did they choose to build it the way that they did? Why did, you know, like getting that understanding just helps make a lot of other stuff make more sense. And it just adds so much to it. Like it gives it its personality, it gives it its character.
Yeah.
So we made a point to go talk to each of those individuals that were in like the
Or
final,
we tried our
the final
best to.
running
Yeah.
to do so. And that was incredible.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it, because not a single person that we talked to was just like, oh, I just built it to win a trophy.
Yeah.
Because that
Right.
wasn't it. It was a very like wholesome, like, and they didn't know what we were just like, hey, we just want to talk to you about the car, because
Right.
really no one
Yeah,
really
they don't
knew
know if we're making
that
a
we
video
were giving
or-
a trophy
yeah.
or a video.
Yeah.
Like we just wanted to hear about it, and it was like, it was so cool to hear those stories.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's tough to only pick one, because
Yeah,
there's so
I
many
wanted to pick.
incredible.
I wanted to. If we could have had like a first, second, and third
Yeah.
place, I would have, because damn.
It was a lot of incredible stories, and we appreciate you guys, you know, allowing us to do that. And I know Gatlinburg Slam Enough had to put a lot of trust in us
Yeah.
by distributing that trophy, because obviously that's a testament to like their quality and care that they put into their judging. And so hopefully, you know, I think we did it right, and we used the right reasoning, and we really tried to be honest with the audience too, because when I went up there was a lot of people, but I wanted to make sure they knew why we were choosing that car and what criteria we used, so that they kind of know, okay, well, maybe I have a really cool car, but maybe it's not using authentic parts,
Sure.
or maybe I'm using authentic parts, but maybe the style and flow just wasn't really there. And so we really tried to be as honest as we could about that, because we want to be able to look anybody in the eye and say that. And also, there were some gorgeous cars there, you know, that fit all the bills. So at the end of the day, it is a little bit of like, well, what do we like? You know, and what's relatable to us as Midwestern car enthusiasts, and knowing that Dakota loves this style and Gels loves this style and I love this style.
So what did we
coming
pick?
together. We picked a. That's true. What did we pick, Dakota?
My favorite car from Saturday, Ray's RX-7.
Yeah.
dude.
Dude, oh my God.
I mean, it was a great story. It's a dream car for Ray from when he was a little kid. And then how he got it and modded it and like brought his friends together to get it done before the GAT last year. And then bringing it this year and just refining it, and each year trying to kind of step it up
Yeah.
and bring something new to the plate. And dude, I'm telling you, it's just a jaw-dropping car.
So it's like a full TCP body kit on it. It's insanely wide. It's a time attack inspired build. The most amount of vents that you could probably see on a car, but it still looks absolutely incredible.
Air doesn't stand a chance. Yeah, one of the things that I always worry about when we're looking at the cars is there is excess that can sometimes start to take away from something. And so it was. I think I was the harshest critic on Ray's car because I was like, it's like the perfect amount. Where it's like if you were to add any more,
Yeah.
I feel like it would start to tilt over into the excess.
But everything
dude,
made sense.
it was
It
so
wasn't
good.
just for the purpose of it being there. It was like everything was functional. Everything made sense. It was incredible.
Great wheel choice too.
Great wheel choice.
He's such a kind guy.
Yeah.
So I'm glad it went to him. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was so hard to choose. We talked to a lot of people. A lot of people that had amazing cars, amazing stories. So if we did talk to you and you didn't get it, just know like we were fighting
It was
tooth
tough.
and nail
Yeah.
trying to figure out who
Yeah,
to pick. It
we
wasn't.
were loving it because there was a couple cars that we talked about that like they had awesome stories too. They had authentic parts. They had
Yeah.
the
All the right
Nismo
stuff,
stuff. They
yeah.
had all the right stuff, and we were like, God, it's
At the end of the day,
so
there's just
damn
one trophy to give
close.
away, you know?
Yeah, and so
It was-
I gotta say too, it was really cool. It was a little different, but a lot of people came up to the booth and said they listened to the podcast. So
Yes.
thank you to everyone
Yeah.
that
Thank
came
you.
up and said hi or hey, I listened to the
Yeah.
podcast. I put it on at my shop and just put it. That's so cool to hear. Special shout out to K Swap, the World 69.
yeah.
He came and hung
Dude.
out with us. He gave us
Yeah.
Polaroids of our cars. He even delivered Red Bulls, which was so
Yeah, so
off the record though. We didn't, or he
Yeah.
got them from the convention center
Yes.
and gave them to
yeah,
us.
I can't remember where I even put that post or comment or something like that, but like
Yeah.
somebody said something. I was like, I just need Red Bulls.
Yeah.
Whoever can deliver Red Bulls at
Yep.
Gatlinburg,
I think we
I'll
said
love
it
you
in the
forever.
podcast.
yeah,
before.
you had to have said it in the podcast because there was another guy because like K Swap came up and he's like, I got this for you guys. You know?
I got
he's
the
like,
goods.
He's like, hold on, and I'm like, what the fuck is this guy about to give me? You know? And he's like, no, here. And he gave us like 2 cases of
Yes.
like 4 packs of Red Bull,
Which
like,
I drank.
Holy shit! Like, thank you so much.
Yes.
He's like, yeah, you guys said in the podcast. I was like, don't remember that, but that's awesome. And then I shit you not, like an hour or so later, one of you guys came up and we were talking. He's like, dude, I'm so sorry. I tried to get you guys Red Bulls, but they took them from me. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
That's so kind. But true, like the people that listen to the podcast are the best, and it was so cool to like connect with you guys in person
Yes.
and hear how you guys listen to it. That totally makes it worth it. And it's a reason why we do it. So thank you guys. So many people came
Yeah,
up
and
listened.
Yeah.
it's so insane because it's like we sit down in our shop every week and we just seem like we just bullshit for an hour or so. I go to my computer, I edit it up, and I post it, and it's like, yeah, we have a podcast, but it's like we do, and it's really cool, and the fact that you guys and gals listen and watch as much as you do and support it as much as you do, I can't say thank you enough. We can't say thank you enough. Like that's just super incredible. It means the world to us, and it is why we do what we do. So.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to somebody. So a mom reached out to us, I think, this morning, and she said, "I just wanted to tell you I appreciate it about reaching out to us because her son reached out and needed some help with car parts." And she said he reached out about advice about how to get gigs. Doing photography, and he received a 6-paragraph response from Hamby. Because we take our customer service and experience like super serious. We want you to feel like you're working with a friend, and so Hamby is one of the guys that helps us out with emails. And Hamby responded
guy.
back with like a 6-paragraph response on how to get gigs with photography. So then the mom reached back out and said, he's 17 years old. Only friend in his friend group interested in cars. So sometimes he feels a little
That's
bit
tough.
like an outcast. So he said, so we loaded up. Me and him drove several hours to Slammed Enough in Sevierville, and he was in absolute heaven. But the whole way there, he was talking about Martini Works and how they got started and the people that run it and how it's just a cool business and that we were about to leave and he saw the booth. So we got to stop by and buy a shirt. But I didn't know he emailed the company until the next day at dinner, and he was just beaming, saying that Zach Hamby responded and how much it meant. So
Damn.
these comments, like these messages, like they mean the absolute world to us because it is a really hard battle to do this and to do it even like profitable. Like we're not making money doing this stuff right now, guys. And so it means the world to have those experiences, and we hope you see the investment that we're making into it because it's special to us and we care a lot about it. So
Absolutely.
we're going to take a small break, but not before talking about our second sponsor, the Martini Works podcast, Fortune Auto.
I want a guy who just drove 1,400 miles on him to tell me about it.
Yeah.
Bro, whether it's Continental tires or Fortunatos, I put them through the test. I took my Fortunato 500s on my Supra, and I drove all the way down to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and back no trailer, boys. You know, we drive it how we
We
park
drive
it.
our cars.
There it is.
Didn't even remove the bumper. Didn't tape it up. Nothing. I have the Super. It's like 1.5 inches off the ground in the front. It's pretty dang low, dude. The car drove phenomenal. And then guess what? When I got there and we're zipping through the mountains, I'm beating the piss out of it, and it does it perfectly. I didn't break my back driving down. And then when I got to the mountains, I needed stiffer suspension. It held out. I'm telling you, I can't preach it enough. Fortunato suspension makes my favorite coilovers. It's what I've been going to since I was literally 19 years old, and I still run them today, and they do everything I need to do. It does, whether I'm taking the car to the track, I'm taking it to the mountains, I'm going on a road trip, or I'm daily driving it to work and back. I don't even have to think about it. I don't even adjust my damping. I have it set to where I need it, and I never touch it again. So if you guys are interested, you can get those over at martiniworks.com. Fortunato makes coilovers for a ton of different platforms, and then they're even customizable beyond what just they offer off the shelf. So if you need something specific, whether it's spring rates, a Swift spring upgrade, you want to jump up to 510s because you're really tracking it and you're driving harder than I am, well, go for it. Get them at martiniworks.com. Thank you to Fortunato for being a sponsor of the podcast.
This motherfucker right here.
Yeah, what you holding? What you holding there?
This thing right here is best booth setup.
Yeah, so we went down this year. Those that are
Hell
just
yeah.
listening, Alex is holding an award,
Oh,
a very important trophy, because
It's so
we
heavy.
set out for Slam Enough Sevierville with one goal in mind, and that was to take home best booth setup. Because last year we found out that there was a best booth setup award, and we were like, what the
I
fuck?
want that.
I want that.
And we thought we had a fighting chance last year, too.
Yeah.
We were all kind of holding our breaths when they were announcing it, and we didn't get it. So
and we
like,
were a
all
little
right.
defeated.
We were like, all right.
I was gonna say
Next
we
year.
walked away with 0 awards last year. Obviously you don't build something for the award, but the award is a nice little affirmation,
The
right?
booth we built for the award, baby. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
I mean,
But this year we were like, we are coming with a plan. We are coming with a vengeance. We are coming with a focus, and we ended up getting it, which was super cool. I know the team worked really hard on this one, and I know that it was definitely worth it to get that at the end of the day. You know, Carissa had kind of worked her tail off pretty much for months leading up to it. Lars, and obviously you guys, Gretchen, you know, Dustin. Everybody put in a ton of work to make it possible. And then to actually execute it was cool. You
There's
know,
pivots and changes we had to make once we showed up. Everything,
Yeah.
you know, was a little bit different. So it was like we had to change some stuff around. But
it
we made
was
work.
it
Yeah.
was chaotic. Like the GAT crunch this year wasn't necessarily the car. The cars I felt great about. We had the right people doing what we needed to do with the cars. Shout out to like all the people around our shop here who had a hand in getting those ready. The cars were no problem. Cars were done a week
the
before.
booth was the problem.
Booth was a fucking nightmare 2 days before we were leaving, when the grass that showed up wasn't the right length and didn't fill the space that we needed, and we had to completely redo the actual layout of the booth because it wasn't even supposed to be like that. But I'm glad that we did, because I think it turned out way better.
Yeah, it was a super rad experience, and I was really happy to see so many people come up and really enjoy their time at the booth. That was really the big thing for me, because we're there so damn long.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Super
it's
long.
literally 7 to 7, even longer, sometimes 7 to 8. You know, so I at least wanted a place where it's like at least we were comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, and having the space was super nice. And then also just having a little bit of breathing room,
Yeah.
so people could come in. It wasn't felt like you had to buy something like right away. You had some space to kind of chill out, check out the sim rig, watch the videos that we had playing on the
Yeah, we had a little projector screen.
projector screen, which was
That's pretty
cool.
I think my favorite thing was, right, it's like obviously we're there. We have stuff to sell. We made apparel specific for the event. We want to try to recoup some of that money that we put into the event, right? Obviously that's like the thing. But it's like the space itself and the way that we set it up, in all of our minds, we just want a place where people come hang out.
Yeah.
Because like you walk around the entire show and it's like, you know, there's a lot of vendors and a lot of cool, really cool businesses, a lot of cool things. It's like, you know, we wanted the spot for people like, they want to buy something awesome. Appreciate it. We got some really rad stuff for you. But like, come pop a squat on our futon. This is what we got a futon for you to come hang out on. We got the grass, we got sim rigs, we got magazines for you to read. We got, you know, a bunch of stuff to check out, you know, take a load off, because I think it does need it because, like you said, there is not a chair in sight outside of the the cafeteria, I guess.
Yeah.
For you to kind of just chill out for a minute, take it all in. So
It was super fun, and having the cars there was a blast.
Mhm,
I think that
mhm.
was super rad. Man, it was some gorgeous weather the whole
a
weekend.
lot hotter than I expected.
Yeah. But what would be, we got some folks that were there.
Mhm.
We got some folks that wish they went. Dakota, what's a tip for anybody that's thinking about going to a Slammed Enough show in general, and maybe more specifically Gatlinburg?
Gotcha. Let me think. I would say, first of all, go both days,
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday, because they swap out the cars, the quality of cars. I mean, you have people coming from all over the country. It's not like these are people from just over Tennessee. It's all over the country.
Yeah.
So it's 100% worth, checking out both days.
Yeah.
But then also, if you can set aside some time to go cruise the mountains and check out the local areas, there's a ton of fun and stuff to do. Like, there's a reason they do it in that area. It's
Yeah.
awesome area too. So
Yeah. Gels?
Man, one tip. I would say, if you got friends to do it with, absolutely do it. Like, make a trip out of it. I think, the show itself is fantastic. We really enjoyed ourselves this year, but we stayed an extra day, Monday, just specifically to go drive around, really just kind of take it in. We went, my wife and I went and did photos and stuff in the mountains. It was fantastic. It was awesome. And then we did some just classy tourist shit, and it was great. It was super fun. We did the moonshine tasting. We did the Anakista, which was awesome. Saw a bunch of bears.
What?
What's Anakista?
It's the best place to buy overpriced drinks in tiny glasses to end the trip.
So
What
it's
is
one of the chairlift things that takes you up a mountain, and then on top of the mountain there's a restaurant and a bunch of attractions. It's a bunch of attractions and stuff like that.
Totally worth it for no reason in particular.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I'd say obviously the cars are super incredible, but it's everything around that time is just the best part.
Yeah, it was an incredible weekend. I would say biggest tip I could give you for a Slammed Enough show in general, which I got shit on a little bit when I came back to the States, but in Japan everybody loved it. Dude, wear some good shoes. I was wearing New Balances. I wish I wore New Balances at the show. My wife made me put on Nikes because it matched my outfit better. Really, I just wanted to rock the old NBs the whole day. Dude, a good pair of shoes goes a long ass way for that show because you were on concrete all day. If you go to SEMA, you know exactly what I'm talking about. A good pair of shoes gets you much farther.
Unless you stop by our booth and you can sit on grass.
Then you can sit on grass. I did have a few people come over and they're like, "Is it okay if I just sit down for a second?" I'm like, "Brother, of course." I said, "You absolutely can." They're like, "Thank God." And they're just having a little picnic in our booth.
Throughout the day I had seen, or the days, there was multiple times where I saw someone just sprawled out on the ground.
Yeah, they're like,
Just
just
kind
give
of
me a
enjoying it.
second.
Yep.
Just
I'm
give me a
like,
second. I'll
dude,
buy a
that guy's
shirt. Just
doing
give
it.
me a second,
Yeah.
please. It's like, no, dude, you're good.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to make sure I call out, and we should call out before we call the podcast quits here for today, which, by the way, if you guys did go to Slammed Enough, let us know in the comments below what your favorite part was, or maybe something you didn't expect.
Yeah.
But a huge shout out to Slammed Enough and the folks who donated non-perishable food items, that donated water, donated money, donated whatever it is that they could to those that were impacted by the absolute onslaught of terrible weather, of disaster relief efforts in the southeast United States, and continue to get that relief with Milton that hit, and the hurricane that's coming shortly after that. It's just not a good time to be in southeastern America right now, especially with all the weather. And when Slammed Enough saw an opportunity to make a couple posts to say, hey, if you want to deliver some stuff, we'll deliver it to a relief location. That's awesome. That means the world. I know that there are families that are personally impacted by that, and it is really shitty. So I know we're spending time talking about cars and how cool it was, but the road that we go on Monday to go cruise was shut down because of the landslides and because of the water and the weather and all that stuff. And so, it's a very real thing, and I'm very thankful that team put something together to those families.
For sure. Well said.
Dakota, anything you want to add?
Just always double check the feet check when you're getting in a stall. Because apparently doors, you can't trust the locks on them.
Actually, he didn't have it locked.
Maybe he didn't. I don't know. I just walked up and whoop.
I mean, if it
and I-
opened that easily,
Yeah.
Maybe he
he
wanted.
didn't have it locked.
You know what I think?
I think. Well, didn't you say someone came like running up with a phone to it? Like, yep, got that.
Yeah, it was really weird. I don't know.
I think you were set up.
I don't know.
I think you were
the
set
guy
up.
was just joking, but it was just impeccable timing. Because again, like no one was coming in, no one was going on. I'm like, all right, I think that one's
I
empty.
think someone tried to set you up.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anyway, Double check.
It wasn't this year, it was last year. I remember I went to the bathroom at the show and it was just me, thank God, you know, and there's like 6 urinals, and so I went to the furthest one, and a guy came in and he went to go to like the second to first one, you know, giving us a little bit of breathing space.
As you do.
And I still remember it was the most awkward ass thing. He like went to unzip, looked at me, zipped it back up, came closer to me, came to the stall next to me, re-zipped, started peeing, and goes, "Hey man, love what you do." And I'm like,
there's no way
I'm like,
that's real.
He re-zipped
I'm like,
to reposition.
thank
That's
you.
I hate
wild.
that. That's
I'm
not
like-
a place to have a
I'm like-
That's
conversation.
wild.
I'm like, thank you. I couldn't pee anymore. I was done. I couldn't do it. So I went wash my hands and I went back to the booth,
Jesus.
and Becca was like, how is everything? I'm like, I never want to go to the bathroom here again.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Oh.
Glad to know I'm not the only one with awkward
That's why
encounters.
I just don't use the bathroom in public places. Anyway,
That's not how that works.
I just want to say thank you to everyone for making this year such an incredible year
Yeah.
and event. I, like Dakota mentioned, keep hearing that this was like the best one yet. It did feel that way. Obviously, we've only been going for a handful of years now, but like this was by far my favorite one, putting down in the books of events that we've gone to. And I think a lot of that has to do with the community. So if you're watching this, if you're listening, and you went, obviously you had an impact in that.
Thanks
you
for
so much.
picking something up too.
Thanks for picking
like
something up.
truly, it means the world. Every year, I think my big thing is I just love seeing the brand out there. I
Mm-hmm.
love seeing the 2023 Martini Works shirts. I love seeing the 2022 hoodies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that means the world to us. We love that support. And if you ever have friends, you know, maybe you're not looking to mod your car, but maybe your friend is. Maybe your friend's looking for wheels or something. Shoot them our way.
Mm-hmm.
It means the absolute world to have that support.
One last thing before we sign off. We did sell out of the event tees and hoodies really, really fast on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you did come Sunday, you weren't able to get your hands on like a 2024 Sevierville Martini Works tee or hoodie, we do have them available. We're going to be submitting another order for them because we felt so bad that they sold out so quick. They're pre-order is live on martiniworks.com. You can check them out. You can still get your hands on one if you weren't able to get it at the show, or if you just want one of the designs because they're absolutely sick.
Yes.
You can check it out, martiniworks.com, where we placed another order for them. Get on the pre-order while you can, and you can get yourself a shirt or hoodie.
Yeah, I think we'll only have the pre-order up for a couple days by the time this airs. So if you're listening to this and it's like Saturday, you got like a day. So I would highly recommend, if you hear this, you want one, go snag it right now. Best way to do it.
Go do it.
Dakota?
Always double check
All right.
feet
All right.
underneath the stall.
We will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for the
Thank you,
support. We'll
thank
see you
you.
on the next episode of the podcast.
Bye.
Bye.